All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to show you my exact process for SEO optimizing content for law firms' websites, which is how I get them to rank on page 1 of Google for whatever their target keywords are. I'm going to show you exactly the research process I use and then how I optimize them, what tool I use and everything like that so that you can replicate this process for yourself and start ranking on Google for your target keywords. So let's get right into it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the example of a family attorney in New York City. I'm just going to pick a random one that's not ranking and I'm going to show you how I would optimize their content so that it actually has a chance at ranking. So let's pick someone randomly from the search results, obviously not on page 1. Let's go down to like page 3 or 4 and just pick one that's not ranking here. So let's pick these guys, they're on page 3. I'm just picked randomly someone off the thing and let's see if we can improve this content, how I'd go about it. So this is a page about family law, so that's perfectly fine. We can take a look at their overall, how they've done it. H1 is good, okay. So now the first thing that you need to figure out is what are your main keywords that you actually want to rank for this page. So for this page, it would be something like family lawyer NYC, maybe family law. Actually, we'll just go with that one. Let's just go family lawyer NYC. Let's see what it throws up, right? Basically, what we're trying to get at is what is the main keyword. So family lawyer NYC, probably the main keyword. We're looking for search volume here. Now I'm using SEMrush. And if you don't have SEMrush, you're trying to do SEO, then just basically forget about it. So go and get something like SEMrush. I'll put my link in the description below if you want to go through my affiliate link. Otherwise, something like Ahrefs will do the job as well. But you need a keyword research tool for SEO. If you don't, don't even bother. You're not going to be able to compete, especially in some niche like this where it's very competitive. Forget about it. We've got family lawyer NYC. Let's go family attorney. That might be one as well. No, so that one gets a lot less. So family law attorney NYC, probably the second level keyword here. The top one is family lawyer because that one gets more searches. We'll just add them to our list here. Let's try maybe NY, although that could be state level. Let's try NY or New York City, family lawyer. Okay, that one doesn't get anything. Family law attorney in New York City. All right, we'll pick that one as well because that's got a good couple hundred. So we got basically our top 3 keywords that we're trying to rank for. So these are the ones that are the main keywords we're targeting. Now, you want to select the top level keywords so that you've got something that you're optimizing for. You don't want to go too broad and start trying to attack every one of these variations because it's just going to make things difficult and you'll usually pick them up if you've optimized the page correctly. But also for step 2 of what I'm about to show you, you'll see why, because it's going to get done naturally anyway. So what we want to do is we want to take these keywords, we want to throw them into a tool called Surfer SEO. So this is what I've been using to optimize content and it works extremely well if you run content through this. Basically what it does, and you're going to see it in a minute, is it calculates based on the inputted keywords you selected in the location, what your competitors have done and what keywords you need to include, the word count and all of these different things so that your content is more optimized than theirs from an SEO perspective. And trust me, it works really well. This is why I do it. It's well worth it. Again, it's a paid tool, but it's well worth the money. If you want to use it, I'll put my affiliate link in the description below if you want to go through that. And I highly recommend you get it if you're doing SEO yourself because it makes a massive difference, believe me. What you do is you'd click new content. You'd throw the keywords in here, so I'm pasting them in, and you want to select the location. So in this case, I'm going to go New York and see if I can go city, which I can. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to click create. And now it's going to run the calculation and figure out exactly what content we need on this page based on what's ranking and whatever else it uses to calculate. So we'll let this run for 1 minute. It'll take a minute or 2, and then we can start putting the content in. And so now it's ready to roll. So now we can click on this, and you'll see now we have an editor for the content, which we can put in, and also a calculation score here, which gives us a score, and then the keywords that need to be included within this content based on what everyone else has. Now, this isn't foolproof. Sometimes it's not 100% accurate, but basically it gives you a very good idea of what you should be including based on what's ranking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the content from here, and I'm actually going to paste this into the editor. So now we can start working with their specific content and optimize it further to see if it's optimized and why they're not on page 1. So let's go with copy the whole lot. I usually don't include footers and things like that. I just put this. Most of this stuff I'm just not going to include. We'll put this in as well. But basically I usually focus more on just the main content rather than what's over here. But in any case, you can see here that they rank based on the content we're looking at. I'll remove the image. Based on this content, they rank 60, whereas the average is 64 and the top is 80. Now, what I like to do is make sure that we're above the top one so that way you're undeniably got better content than all the competitors. Even just on an average, you're above the top one, and that's going to help you rank. And in my experience, this works. Like, it truly does work. So I would recommend, that's what I do. Basically, I want to make sure that I'm better than everyone else, so I'm just going to make the score better. And then, it's been working. For example, the immediate thing I see here is that we've got the top keyword that this is identified as Family Lawyer NYC, which is not even on this page at all. So you can see here, this counts how many times this is used on the page. Also, their word count is way lower than basically everyone else's, and their headings are okay, paragraphs are okay, almost there. Now, one thing you want to do as well is you want to take a look at this. You want to open this up where it says here customize, and this shows you your competitors. And so basically what you want to do is you want to select the competitors that you're actually competing against, not against the ones that you're not. And what I mean by that is, if the intent of the content is not the same, so in this case, this is a law firm offering their services, what we don't want is something like a blog from super lawyers listing out the top 10 lawyers, as you can see here, because that's not technically the same piece of content. So I personally like to exclude those and only include the ones that we're actually up against, if that makes sense. Yes, technically we're up against these, but you get my point. It's a different type of content entirely. And if we're going to compete with those, then we might need to make a whole different website or structure the entire thing differently. That's not the point here. We're trying to rank this law firm on page 1. You want to take the ones that are actually law firms, right? And you want to compete with them. So again, let's see just here. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a summary as well. Might disclude them. Yeah, they seem to be a law firm, but that page is weird. So, all right. So now we've got it. Now, again, they're still ranking at 68, still on the very low end. They're just above average now, according to this new calculation, but still a lot of room for improvement. So let's see if we can bump this up to 80. I'm going to show you how I would usually go through this and improve the score. So first off, like I mentioned, the main keyword is not anywhere. I would usually put that in the H1, quite frankly. So right now, what we'll do is we'll go Family Lawyers, NYC, and we'll see what happens. So the score, by having the exact match keyword, do you see that? The score jumped up 6 points already. Now that will probably help rank for Family Lawyer NYC. So it's probably worth doing, right? I will put that in there. I would personally have that as the top keyword. Now let's see what else we can do. So the immediate things I see here is this is an H3. This should be an H2. So I'm just going to correct all of this to begin with, because these little things do make a difference. I don't know why they're all H3. This is correct. Okay. I like the FAQs. Now I'm just going to check that list of links there, where that even came from. That came from here. So I'm going to actually remove that, because technically that's not really part of the content. And we'll just clean this up a little bit. I'm going to include that as an H3. I'm not sure why that's an H4. So personally, so see, a lot of this is just formatting the content, right? Let's remove this part, make that a heading. See, so I would maybe use this as an opportunity. So we'll go on the headings here, and you can see what headings we need to include. So they do have all these headings, which is good. So what we want to do, I would include, see, what makes our New York family lawyers the right choice. And now we've just inserted this keyword variation in there. Put that as H3 because it makes more sense hierarchically. No, what I would have is these all as H3s. That's personally what I would do, just by doing that. And I would have sections in each of these for a little bit of content in here explaining this, because that's going to get the word count up, and it's going to get more keywords in here. And now, for example, I saw a divorce related one somewhere here. Experienced New York attorney. You can see here that all of these keywords are not included, but you can, and they also have room to work with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to produce the content how I would normally produce it. And now I'm not going to show how I do that here, because that's my secret, but I'm going to produce my content and I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to show you the difference here when I'm finished with this. So now I've just produced the content for this middle section here of services, and I'm just going to paste it in here and watch what happens. Now we've got the score up to 74, and it's because we have these headlines and we've got a bunch of keywords that previously were not included that are now included here. So we started here at 60 and we're now up to 74 with this content. Now we still have more room to work with the words, so I'm going to make a couple of changes to this to get more word count in here, because that's going to help as well. And then I'm going to show you another trick I like to use to further expand the word count and include more keywords so we get the score above 80, because I want to get the score above 80 for this video to show you guys how you can do it. So just bear with me here. Okay, so I have further expanded upon each of these segments here, and that has actually brought the score down. So you have to be careful about that because that does happen. So it's probably removed one of the keywords or two of them. So what we'll do in a minute is we'll go through and we will actually add some keywords in. So what I'm going to do is, let's say for adoption, we'll just go through this and see if we can insert keywords into any of these segments, right? So we've got child custody. So we've got child custody too many times. Why is it so many times? Where have they got it? Family law issues. Okay, so let's insert that keyword somewhere. Family law, let's go related matters. We'll just make this family law issues. And that bumped the score up to 77. Got domestic violence, family court system. So you can see here, we've got the keyword family court system, but we don't have anything about family court here. Now, assuming they want to offer that service, which they probably do, I would add a section about that. So I'm going to throw that in now in a second to get that keyword in here as well. We can throw another one I've just seen, complex divorce cases. So we actually have, especially in cases involving, so we go especially in complex divorce cases. And now we've got another keyword inserted there involving complex assets. See, just throwing that in there can help. That didn't raise the score necessarily, but it does all add up over time. Family court services. So we'll throw the family court one in here. Now we're down up to 79. I'm just going to remove that for the time being. Now, bear in mind, I'm not proofreading this specifically because obviously everyone wants specific different things in here. But this, you can see here, just purely from an SEO optimized perspective, we're now at 79, almost 20 points above where everyone else is, and we're only 1 point down below the top scoring piece of content, and we haven't even hit the word count yet. We've still got things we can do here. So you can see where I'm going with this, right? So let's keep going. We're almost there. So they've got a couple of FAQs. So now what I like to do is usually when I've exhausted what I believe is reasonable up in the top section here, from a taking into account conversion rate and things like that, and making it optimized so it actually reads well, I start going into the FAQs. And basically you can use this for keyword insertion as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test out the FAQs I've got drafted here already as part of the content I produced. And let's see what happens. So just by pasting in the ones that I had, we've got the score up to 80 now. We're equivalent to the top scorer, which basically means we have the equivalent top scoring piece of content with whoever our competitor is. So you can see here exactly who it is. It's these guys, New York Family Law Group. We have a piece of content as good as their one. Now I want to get it a little bit better. So let's see if we can insert a couple more keywords. So what you can do is you can use these to see themes of what you should include that might not be included in here. So for example, experienced New York attorney. So I'm going to go, you need an experienced New York attorney. So now we've got that keyword in there. I want to get Supreme Court and contested divorce. Those two are pretty good. So I'm going to insert keyword contested divorce in here. Contested divorce cases, other family law issues. We could include that as an H3. See if that's going to help at all. Okay, I'm going to leave that one open. I might come back to use that. I might remove it later. So another thing you can do now is, for example, make an FAQ that includes some question to do with this. So just for the purpose of this video, let's go with pay child support. I'm trying to get that keyword in here. So what you can do is put an FAQ and make something to do with this, right? So for example, you could do, let's say, for example, how much child support will I have to pay? And you can have that as an FAQ, and then you can slip that keyword in there. So let's just take that. I've got the piece of content. Now we're going to try and phrase it correctly. So what I like to do is just put it in there and see what difference on the score it's going to make. So right now it says none, but again, they add up. So I'm going to put the amount of, you could do something like how much you will have to pay child support. That might not be 100% grammatically accurate, but sometimes you need to just get creative with this. So that's why I'm putting it down here in the FAQs, but you get the idea. So right now we're still equal to the very top one. So I'm going to try and get a few more of these keywords in here. So we got divorce matters is not taken. So let's try and get this guy in here. So we can go divorce matters are really straightforward. Okay, so now we got another keyword. Now, typically speaking, just so you know, the keywords further up here are typically more likely to change the score than the ones below. That's what I've found. So I want to test something. I want to get this keyword in here. I got a feeling that's going to raise it. Yeah, there we go. So you see, if we get Supreme Court in here somewhere, it raises the score to 85. So that's a perfect example of going to FAQs, making an FAQ about this, and inserting that. So I'm going to make one now. Okay, so now I've written the new one, the new FAQ with the keyword Supreme Court. And there we go. So now we have a very viable reason why it's in here. Do family law cases go to Supreme Court? Like, it is a valid question. It's a realistic question that people might ask. And we've got it now on here. And we've most importantly got the keyword Supreme Court. And now our score is 85, way above the top one. Now, quite frankly, you could stop right here because we're way above the top one anyway. And 85 is a massive score as it is. Now, obviously, legal industry, especially somewhere like New York, is typically quite competitive. But I guarantee you, if you did this and took this content and ran it on this page at the score of 85, this page is going to go up in the rankings. Whether it goes to page 1 or not depends on a few different factors. Site authority, backlinks, what other pages you've got on this topic, and all these other things. The point being is that they're on page 3 right now. You can practically guarantee they're going to go to page 2 at the very least by doing what I just did here. Now, you could keep going, like I said, and try and get the score as high as possible. You kind of hit diminishing returns at some point. So quite frankly, the fact that we're 5 points above the very top competitor, I would say that's pretty good. It depends how much time you want to invest into this, obviously, and whether you can increase this further. Typically, you either want to go at the very least, the score should be at least 75 or above whatever the top competitor is, whichever one is higher. So that makes sense? So if the top competitor is, let's say, 58, you'd want to hit 75. If the top competitor is 80, you want to go a little bit above 80. If it's like 90, you want to go a bit above 90. So that's kind of how I do it personally, because I want to have the best piece of content possible that Google can find so that it's more likely to show it higher in the search results. So that's it. You can see here, this would be the process that I would go through. Obviously, we need to clean this up, draft it a bit to reflect whatever the law firm wants to say on their website, get them to approve the content and everything to make sure they're happy with all the wording. But this is usually how I would go about optimizing this content and getting it done so that it's a very high chance that it's going to rank above all the competitors simply because we produce the most relevant piece of content for these particular keywords. That's the whole point here. So that's it. If you do this, I guarantee you will rank higher because I've tested this extensively and trust me, it works. So that's it for this video. If you want me to do this for your law firm site and actually get you ranking higher than you are now, and by the way, I do it on a pure performance basis, go to dominatemarketing.io. You can book a call with me there. We'll have a chat, see if it's a good fit, and if I can help you, we'll come to a deal. Talk then.